we have gone through this route before. Remember in the early 80s when debt profile went to as far as $35 billion. President Obasanjo went ahead to, campaign for debt forgiveness. We got it. And we thought, okay, we are good to go. How did we come back to this point?
Well, we got here to a mix of several things. But first of all, what are the figures telling us? The total federal government debt as at now is 11.97 trillion. And just as I earlier said, it's that the public debt itself is 19.1. There are two factors. Is that one, over the years we have been taking on retrogressive subsidies. One of them has also been oil subsidies, and we have one way or the other we have to fund them. So it also fueled some of this debt. Two is that we also found ourselves in a downswing, so we have to spend out of the recession, so we're also borrowing. Largely, it also is that we also find it's this fiscal leakages also a part of it. And the sad story is that over those years when we had debt is that there was really no correlation between debt and growth. So that's how we found ourselves here. And it's something we could always solve. But if you look at it, the debt to GDP as at now stands about 17.1%, which many will say is healthy compared to the global threshold, which many will say 40%. And you also look at our peer countries like Kenya, which I think is 79.9. You look at Ethiopia, 32.5. South
Debt to GDP.
Debt to GDP, I think 50.05. But then the figures also could be very deceiving because the structures of economies differ. One thing we do share with most of these countries is that they're also resource-dependent countries. But the other fact is that these other countries, on the other hand, is that they have the tax revenue is very robust. And two is that they are not dependent on only one commodity. So compared to ours, whereby you have oil, which makes about close to 85% of our total foreign revenue and more than 60% of our revenue. So those are the issues. So our debt sustainability, if looking at the DMO just to answer it, is 19.56%. So given our present debt to GDP is 17.1, so we still can borrow. But what she said, I think, let's get it clear, is that we will borrow when we need to.
There are people in this country who have 10, 20 houses, some of them empty. No rent is paid on them. And even if rent is being paid, they are not being taxed for that. So is that another way to go? Because if we do collect building tax, for instance, would that help in any way in showing up our revenue so that we don't have to borrow as much as we...
In fact, in most countries, real estate tax is very important because property tax is one thing that also helps to show up your income. And that is key because especially in this particular part of the cycle whereby you need to build up your revenue base. And it's not only in the US, also in the UK, the property tax is also used. And I think, yes, in Nigeria, in certain terms, you also need to, but then we must also be careful on how we apply tax in a recession. You must also ensure that the tax is neither retrogressive or progressive. What are you targeting? The class? Which class of the society? Is it a society presently who now are largely impoverished, or rather those who are well off? I can remember that if you look at the ARPG, they said they'll be taxing luxury goods as of 2018. I think they named things like yachts, jets. Yes, so the issue is not just about tax. One, it's ensuring that there's compliance. How many people pay tax? Two is that what is the nature of that tax? Is it a retrogressive or a progressive tax? Because in this particular time, now if you are going to increase something like a personal income tax, it certainly will not go on well. But then let's also clarify something. I had from the other side of the pool, people talked about Japan, 250% to GDP, and yes, it's true. But then the reality is that debt does not have a one-fit-size scenario. A country like Brazil has its debt to GDP at 64.2% and is in an austerity. On the other side is that you have a Japan which has 250%. And it is not in an austerity. In fact, it's still stimulating. The question is why? Is that because some economies, their currency falls between these exclusive SDRs. So they don't really need foreign revenue, really. because it's a
For
year.
the sake of our viewers who do not understand SDR, please break it down.
Special drawing rights. Special drawing rights.
Okay.
Just like the US now. The US does not need dollar. They do print dollar. But someone like Brazil needs to earn they need imports. They have to export to actually pay back. So that is different. Their money markets are also deeper than ours. So they can have a debt of 250 to GDP. But therefore, a developing economy, you can't have that kind of debt to GDP. So that's it. And on lastly is that in other economies too, what people are doing, especially in South American economies, is that they're also running these cautionary policies. Because people have come to terms that you also have to have PPP, the private and public partnerships. And it works well because people also come to terms that the private sector also know how to manage this very well because they want to make profit. They manage it well. They also ensure that they pay tax. So it has a round tap effect. And it also reduces the effect, actually, on federal government, which is key.
As we're winding down now, so let's begin with you, Temitope. What's the way forward?
Well, the truth is we need to borrow. And therefore, in certain countries like India, there's what we refer to as infrastructural bond. And that bond, really, it's also targeted. It's expected that one of the things in that bond is that it's expected that you spend actually on infrastructure. And India has been using that. So is that in certain countries also, you use debt ceilings. It's a way of also ensuring that you provide a cap. And there are also other ways that you can help. There's what we refer to as holy capitals, whereby you allow trademarks, licensing, and you also liberalize foreign direct investment. Because the problem we have in this country is that it's not that over the last years, it's not that we've not had foreign investment, but it's the nature of the foreign investment. We've had more of portfolio investments than foreign direct investments. And portfolio investments really it's hot money. But what we need now is foreign direct investment because that's what will drive assets.